Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Brian King about Candyman. Welcome back to the show, sir. It's been a while. It's good to see you.
Good to see you, my man. Thanks for having me back.
I mean, we did the interview 3 years ago for The Shy, and, we've been talking on and off about this Candyman movie for a good amount of time.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time in the making. It's like I describe it as a Christmas present we've had for 2 years that we can't open until last weekend.
Absolutely.
And it's totally worth the wait.
Talk a little bit about that, though. I mean, with everything going on with COVID, I mean, it's finally out. People get a chance to see it. I mean, has it hit you yet, though, with everything that happened, that it's finally out?
Yeah, it's actually the last couple days. I think because you've been building it in your mind. Like we shot it exactly 2 years ago, summer of 2019. And then, we were supposed to come out June 2020. And then as we were getting close, the trailer started to come. And then you're like, oh, here we go. And you're starting to look at outfits for premieres and red carpets. And then it got bumped and bumped and bumped. And then for me, I was like, cool with it. Like, I'd rather save it and let's just hold off. We knew we had something really great and cool and important.
Yeah.
So we pushed it off. They pushed it off. They pushed it off. So the fact that we're finally out and the response has been what we kind of felt and thought it would be is like, it's crazy, dude. We're the number one movie in the country, which is like, what? That's bonkers. I mean, I knew it should be. They made an amazing movie.
Well, I mean, I think it's also like the hype and the anticipation. And it's curious because I want to ask you this question. I mean, not even like a controversial question, but it's more like, were you kind of, with everything happened, was there a worry that the hype when it came back, when it was announced that it was coming back, it was like, okay, we're on board now, we're back, we're gonna go see it. But were you worried that because of the timing and everything, that the hype was gonna dwindle more than it did? You know what I mean? Like it was a tough roller coaster. Like, when is this thing gonna be able to be out there, right?
For sure, yeah. I think the concern was, since our movie deals with certain topics and themes and what's been happening in the last couple of years, like I think the timing of that was, I don't know if there'll ever be a perfect time to do it. So just the fact that it needs to get out there and be seen and heard, and that was exciting. So luckily, when they did push it, the marketing, I don't know about where you are, but the marketing here is it's crazy. Every city.
It's crazy here too.
It's every bus stop, it's every billboard, it's every commercial, every ad online. And I mean, I go, maybe I just see it because I'm in the movie, but like everyone sends me pictures and stuff. I had to go to Los Angeles for a screening a couple weeks ago, and dude, everywhere there, it's crazy. So luckily they didn't do that and then have to pull that back a couple years ago. That like they saved all that. So now I think that's why it's out there. And I mean, it also has a built-in audience, dude. That's like,
yeah.
People love the original Candyman.
And this is like a sequel reimagination, technically, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. But it's just like, people love the original Candyman. It's true.
Oh, dude, it is like when I booked a part and I was telling people what I was working on, people would, like, good friends of mine that I'm like great friends with, be like, "Do you know Candyman's my favorite movie ever?" And I'm like, "What? I never knew that." I never saw it until I got the part and I was going to watch it because I'm not a scary movie guy. Like, dude, E.T. for me was like, all right, well, that's frightening.
It's funny because I remember last time you came on the show, we kind of chatted afterwards and you were telling me about a role that you're like in the works for or like you're reading for. And I think it was Candyman because you were like, I'm trying to do things that like I don't usually do.
I don't know,
and it made sense.
It might have been that was a while ago. Yeah, man. I had to do a lot of, man, scary movies are really hard. I mean, not scary movies, but horror movies, man. They're shot at night. You have to you're running a lot, you're screaming a lot. There's special effects. You have to shoot at night so your days get flipped. Mm-hmm. And yeah, dude, shooting Candyman was honestly like the most amazing experience
but
ever.
I mean, the scale just becomes big right away, right? I mean, Candyman, OG horror icon, Jordan Peele. I mean, it becomes big scale right out the gate, right? As soon as you sign up for this thing.
Well, you think so, but they wanted to do it on a small scale. So like they didn't have the huge budgets that some of these other
But the
things.
optics are big scale, right?
Oh yeah, right,
Yeah.
for sure, and the pressure is there, and like, yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. The moment I got the part and read the script, I was like, I'll never forget it. I finished it and I went to the gym, and I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And the next day I woke up and couldn't stop thinking about it either. And I was like, that's crazy that I just read a script and it's doing that to me, as opposed to like watching something, or I don't know. It was just really like, wow. And then to see what made it to the screen, it's like, wow, you guys did it. You did what was on the paper. I couldn't be more proud of anything, and I can't wait for you to see it. I can't wait for everyone to see it.
Because
man.
that's the thing too, right? You go in, you do the lines, right? You do everything, and then it's kind of like, okay, what's gonna be in the film, or how are they gonna put it in the film, right? Like
Yeah.
that's it's like a waiting game there to see like what the final product's gonna look like.
Totally. And then there's like, with movies this big and this important, there's test screenings, and then
Yep.
there's feedback, and then like there has to be logic involved, and like the movie that you did here, does it play out that way? And Nia DaCosta, who our director, is just unbelievable. She's directing Captain Marvel 2 now, and like she is going to destroy that in like the best way. And she has so many cool ideas that you see throughout the movie that piecing them together is just like, that shows how talented she is, that there's so many cool things at play. And so yeah, I mean, for that to happen, and then to make sure that these Candyman people who love it forever, like they have to like buy in too, right? So
Absolutely.
that's a really tough task of like introducing something new, in a new style too, because the first one was very stylistic in its own way. Like, yeah,
totally.
I mean, that was ahead of its time on multiple levels, in theme and look. So to do something that is a branch off that tree, man, that's what I think is so impressive about it, because they nailed it. She nailed it. It's amazing.
It's amazing too to look at you. I mean, you had a very key recurring role in season 1 of The Shy. That's when I basically had you on the show, and you've worked on movies like Man of Steel, and you've done that stuff as well. When you look at, because like your role in Candyman, right? Like we're not gonna spoil it, but it's a cool role. It's some good stuff. Like I'm happy for you, because you're also a friend, right? I'm happy for you, man.
Thank you.
But like, does it sink in a little bit, like how it can be a little bit of like a jump, like not maybe like a, like, you know, like when you're putting the pedal on the car, like you're going, right? Does it, like when you land something like this and you go in and you're doing it, does it kind of feel like everything's jump started? It's like, okay, you know, let's do this one, maybe more opportunities. Like what's that like when you get the role?
That's a great question. To be brutally honest, it's tricky. It's you think every role that's cool is going to be like, you know, like, oh my God, you know, and then you set yourself up for disappointment more and more. And it's not that disappointing. You got to find the little victories that you do. Like, you know, something comes out of everything, whether you believe it or not. So, you know, yeah, with this, it was just more like being like, wow, this is, you never know what it's going to be in the end. So when you get it and you're making it, and it's always awesome and cool, and people are great, and you're learning and you're doing incredible things, and it's fun. And then that's the thing you have to take away, because you have no control after that. Like once I'm done with it and they have it in the editing room, like it's out of my hands. So a lot of times you go to something where I see friends of mine or people I know go to their big thing, and they're not really there as much. So it's a really weird thing that you have to like manage expectations. But you know, this one is just like, yeah, it's pretty much how I, you know, want it. It's all there. And it's like, more importantly, the movie is, that's the thing that you want to like sing and be the thing that like was what you thought it was going to be. And like this one was just like, I mean, yeah, you're sitting. So imagine what you're asking, and then you sit on that for 2 years, not 1 year. So in your mind, you're like, wow, this is going to be amazing. Wow, my part in this part.
I've talked to you on and off about this film. It feels like way long. Like it feels like I've been talking to you about this since like we did the first interview. Like it feels like 4 years.
I mean, dude, it's honestly, but think about it. It's been 3 years, and like 2 of those, like that's a long time. I honestly feel like, I was telling my friends this week, I feel lighter. Like since Friday, I feel like I've really, like, I just wondering and curiosity of what in this, and you know, did I screw that up? did I
Yeah.
completely botch that up? And then for 2 years, and they're like, wow, I could have done that scene different, or I could have, wow, should I have done that? Should I have done this? And
100%.
now seeing it, you're like, no,
Yeah.
they did an amazing job. Nia DaCosta.
Like, obviously Brian King's not the biggest like horror movie guy, like you talked about it. I'm sure there were some people that you worked with on this film that were big horror movie people. I'm a big horror movie guy. I don't know what my favorite horror movie is. I have a list of about 3 or 4, but I will tell you this. I know what the scariest movie I've ever seen is, because there's a difference, right?
Agreed.
There's a big difference, and for me, it's a movie with Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman called The Strangers.
Oh yeah,
That is the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life, because
Really?
yes, because it's realistic. They're in the middle of nowhere, and these people are invading their homes with masks. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
like,
that could happen. It could happen.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like, well, man, there's these shows. Like, I'll tell you, like, I don't want to go into spoilers, but Clickbait just released on Netflix. Not really like a horror show, right? But like,
Yeah.
some of these shows out there, because they're realistic and certain things can happen in real life, those are the scariest ones, right?
Dude, yes. I'll tell you what I like you. All right. So like, I don't like scary movies,
Yep.
but like the scariest movie to me is Seven.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And for the same
I've heard
reason.
someone
Like,
say that before too. Yeah.
yeah. And that's one of the best movies I've ever seen. That's like top 5 movies for me. And I will, and it's scary as heck, but like, I don't know, man.
People are
like,
talking
same
about like,
thing.
Ari Aster's Midsommar. Like, you probably didn't see it, but
Oh
people
my
talk.
God, I heard about it.
Okay, but like, that is just like double scare, because it's like it has the traditional horror vibes, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, but then it's like very realistic.
You
it's
liked
even,
it?
I did, but it's even worse. Like what you're saying though about how Seven, it's like realistic and everything.
Yeah.
This is like, yeah, it's a horror movie, but
Yeah.
it's like a realistic horror movie.
For sure.
One can
And
make
they
an
shot
argument.
it, and it's all like daylight too, which
Yes.
makes it even more real. Yeah,
It's
I read about it.
like messed up.
Yeah.
The genre, but are you definitely, after working on Candyman though, you could of course like respect how insane the genre is, right?
Dude, so I mean, like, I honestly have watched more. I've watched more scary movies now because I'm like, I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
I play sports, so like, I want to save for the last year. Like, let's see if this is as good as our movie, kind of thing. But I watched Quiet Place 2 the other day, right?
So good.
And like, yeah, but it's like, is that a scary movie? Like, and also like, our movie is not. I think people think our movie is like this like slasher film scary, and it's so much smarter than that, and it's so much deeper than that. And that's what I think when people see it.
And there's
like,
nothing
wow.
wrong with a slasher film. Let's
No,
be-
not at all. But like Quiet Place 2, I don't know what category these 2 movies you'd put them in. Because
Yeah.
Quiet Place 2, I'm jumping like every 5 minutes
Yeah,
because aliens are flying out of the sky. Oh,
I know. It's insane. Brian, thank you so much for coming back on Popternative, man. It was great to catch up with you for a little bit.
great to see you, my man. Thanks for having me.
So, Candyman, it's out there. Go see it, right?
It's out there. Go see it. I suggest not saying his name 5 times, but I don't know.
Should we try it? No, I don't want to try it. No, I'm not
Dude,
trying it.
try it. Say it.
No, something's gonna happen. I feel like there was this weird thing on the internet recently where it was like an illusion thing where it says stare on TikTok, stare at something, and then look at your wall. You could see like a person on the wall, and it worked. So I don't do these things anymore. So I'm not doing that.
Trust me, I learned my lesson in the movie.
Where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything? Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram at the Son of Bozo.
Son of Bozo. I remember that.
Same one, same weirdo stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Brian King, who you can see in Candyman, and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.